Alrighty, cosmology and cosmogony. Imagine the following scenario. You have come upon a man. He's busily engaging in constructing something with wood, bricks, cement, etc. He is mixing cement in a kitchen blender, digging holes with a spoon, nailing boards with a rock. He has already shattered 20, and so on. So let's see here. Might just be your first reaction. Literally, like, what are you doing? He says, I'm building a house. Isn't it obvious? The familiar salt. Right. Okay. As you nod. Well, what kind of house? You don't know? As he picks up some cement with a fork and pours it into the blender. Shouldn't you be using the right kind of equipment? I mean, you attempt to bring some sanity into this conversation, but it doesn't work. He says, what do you mean? Can't you see that these are just working fine? And how? You quit. Well, let me see your blueprint. A what? What is that? He drops everything and tries to fix this with you. An honest, quizzical look. So, as you are by now beginning for this scenario to end, I will end it. But it is not really the end, as it is a good replica of how most people conduct their lives. Don't be too quick to exempt yourself. By chapter 10, you'll be thinking very, very differently. Due to the lack of knowledge of self and the purpose of life, most people in the world are going about the daily businesses of their life with the wrong ideas of what life is. What should be their true goals? How to correctly achieve their goals? There's not the slightest awareness that there ought to be or that there actually even exists a blueprint to guide our steps to life, to the true fulfillment of our mission here on earth. But such a blueprint is called cosmogony. Cosmology is the study of cosmogony, and it has two fundamental goals. First, it provides an ordered and unified synthetic view of who and what is God, man, and the forces that administrate and sustain the world. No, understand of a subject that can take place without an ordered and a unified presentation of its whole parts. Second, cosmology, like any blueprint or map, provides a framework that guides thinking and action through the vast array of seemingly unrelated life situations to the successful identification and attainment of the goal of living. It achieves this by showing how all the events in a person's life are integrally related to his or her own destiny. Now, through it is revealed the spiritual value of each and every event in a person's life. With a partial view of man's identity, and worse, no knowledge of his origin and destiny, people go on to create innumerable institutions, life goals, and undertakings. Now, what if someone offered proof to the world that all the things making up the world are integral and inseparable, functional and structural, components of one being? The unity of all things in the world can be understood by the study of biological entities, and they are based on the same cosmogonical structure, blueprint. The human body, for example, is made up of thousands of different types of cells, numbering in the billions. Yet they are all parts of one entity. They represent one life, not the billions of separate existences, but although each cell has its own individual need. The nourishment that one cell receives doesn't take care of the others, yet we all know too well what happens when even one cell begins to go its own way. Cancer. In spite of having individual needs like all other creatures of Earth, their activities interrelate to maintain one being which they collectively compose. But how do we know that all the cells in the body are integral parts of a whole? Well, the answer is simple. Their interdependence, their harmony and order governing their interactions, and the fact that they are individual activities can be shown to add up to the life of the whole that they compose. Running through all the disciplines, studying living things, biology, psychology, biochemistry, etc., as well as other science, are the factors of order, interdependence, relations, and integrations of seemingly separate things into a whole. It is most interest to note that the Western world does not have a fully organized science of the shaping factors of order, harmony, etc., that permeates all science. Such a science, known in various degrees of sophistication to most non-Western nations, is known as cosmology. The term cosmology means the study logy of order. Cosmo comes from the Greek kos, meaning order. It occurs as such word as kometos, as epithet of the Greek god Zeus, meaning the orderer. We also find it in cosmetics and mathematics from the Greek mathematikos, and again KOS, Cosmo. So it is easily to see the relationship of the meaning of the term with the subject treated in mathematics. The term anatomy is chaos. Now, in the Webster New World Dictionary, the second edition defines it thus: the order of formless matter and infinite space, supposed to have existed before the ordered universe. And of course, the synonyms are to see confusion, which underlines mine. Now, although this fairly common definition clearly establishes its relation to cosmos. So, although this fairly common definition clearly establishes its relation to cosmos, it has a major flaw. So, how can there be disorder and confusion in a formless medium? The text is clear that there are two states, one in which matter is formless, incorrectly equated with disorder, and the other of a latter existence in which there is order amplified, is that here matter is formed order. So we must go further and note that the term chaos is of very clever coinage. Now, it is composed of an A. So A, the article of indefiniteness, sandwiched into the term KOS, chaos. To appreciate this fully, we must realize that indefiniteness denotes the absence of form. So all forms are ordered or definite states of substance, hence chaos equals formless, undefined matter. In other words, the indefinite article A denies the existence of order, definition, and the term chaos. So yet, in all truth, we will see that cosmology, the study of order, must start with the study of chaos. For the ordered realm is a mere reflection, according to its own laws, of the non-ordered realm. So keeping the above firmly in mind, it will be easily to see that present-day Westerns have perverted the meaning of the words that are kin to cosmos. Is generally defined as the world and the universe, cosmogony, and as the theory of the genesis and development of the world and the universe, macroism. Now, as the great world or universe and macroism. In macroism, anything that is regarded as a world in miniature, mankind, society, man, etc. So what is at work here is the Western polarization in thinkish thinking about a term that represents an abstract reality. Such thinking has kept Westerners from seeing that the so-called creation myths of blacks are mythoscientific expositions of how to bring order into an area where there is none. The grand theme of the cosmological mythoscientific literature of the black spiritual tradition is the absence of order in the early part of the man's life. Illnesses, social decay, and wars run rampant as a result. So as long as this state exists, prayers, words of power, ritual, science, all measures are of no avail. This is the state that all Western nations find themselves in to date. The bringing of order into the situation is the first prerequisite for the correction of the ills. The values of the myth scientific expositions reside in their appeal to the right side of the brain, which uses them as means of creating order in all other situations in our life. And this is due to its synthetical ability. As we get into the next chapter, which is chapter 5, we'll start speaking of the two great realms of being. Thank you for joining. Stay tuned.